Swift as lightning. A streak of red slips through the grass, silent as if the night itself were shifting. For a moment, the entire farm seems to hold its breath. The fox, the craftiest predator in the suburbs, has returned, light as a feather, yet dangerous as a blade hidden in the dark. And across many rural communities in the United States, it's no longer just a wild animal. It has become a real threat to chickens, small livestock, and the fragile balance of the local ecosystem. Today, we track this invasive hunter. We follow every subtle movement of this silent predator, exploring how it approaches the farm and why people are forced to protect the land they depend on. Don't forget to subscribe to Famigo Farm and join us on this challenging journey. And then the morning begins with a familiar sign. A thin layer of mist settles over the ground, and the entire farm sits in an unusually quiet stillness. Right at the edge of the grass, the brush parts softly, and a red shadow emerges, gliding low to the earth as if blending into the damp field beneath it. The fox pauses for only a few seconds, tilting its head to listen. Its slender ears rotate constantly, sweeping the space ahead. A faint rustle from the chickens inside the fence immediately sharpens its focus. Its posture lowers, its steps becoming short, deliberate, and quiet. It chooses the darkest patches to move through, avoiding the wind, avoiding the streaks of morning light spread across the ground. The distance between it and the coop now has shrunk to just a few dozen meters, close enough to watch even the tiniest movement. At that range, you can hear the grass crackle under its paws, a sign that the target has entered the most sensitive zone of the farm. The scope follows its path closely, keeping steady, missing nothing. The fox slips through a small opening beneath the fence, the very spot suspected for weeks. Its body stays almost glued to the ground, each muscle tightening in rhythm every time it pauses to scan the area. It creeps forward a few steps more, close enough to recognize the coop directly ahead. Just a few seconds more, and it would be inside. In the air, pulled taut like a bowstring stretched to its limit, we hold our breath and wait for that familiar motion. The slight head tilt foxes make right before committing to their final chance. The moment appears, clear and unmistakable. A small shift in its shoulder, a poised step forward, and right as the target settles perfectly into the sight picture, a muzzle flash slices through the morning air, sharp and clean, like a clipped streak of light. The sound isn't there for drama. It's there to stop an attack that was only seconds away. Silence falls again almost instantly. Only the soft wind brushing over the grass remains, marking the place where the quiet standoff just unfolded. In that stillness, the farmer behind the fence can finally exhale. Because sometimes, controlling an invasive predator isn't about seeking triumph, it's about protecting what's most fragile. The chickens, the small livestock, and the peace of an entire piece of land. To understand why they've grown so bold, we need to look at the nature of the species itself. Red foxes are among the craftiest small predators in the suburbs. They move lightly, smell quickly, and hear so well that even the faintest sound can make their whole body freeze. Most active at dusk and during the night, they favor grass edges, tree bases, and dark patches to approach their targets without leaving a trace. But what's more concerning is their adaptability. As natural habitats shrink, foxes have no hesitation moving closer to residential areas, treating chicken coops and backyards as new hunting grounds. The consequences are clear. Chickens are the first targets. A small gap is all it takes for a fox to slip in and cause damage in a single night. Rabbit hutches are no safer. Foxes are clever enough to break latches or chew through wire, sending small livestock into chaos. In many suburbs, porch cameras have even recorded them stealing cat food left outside, a sign of their growing boldness. Ground-nesting native birds have declined significantly, and some foxes carry mange or parasites, which can spread to farm animals. Their constant presence around a farm makes one thing obvious: the balance of the area is being challenged. And for that reason, controlling this invasive predator isn't just an option, it's a responsibility. Not letting livestock face more danger, not letting the ecological cycle be pushed off balance by a species adapting too quickly. That's why every control measure aims at a single purpose: protecting the livestock, protecting the farmer's land, and keeping the ecosystem from being thrown into disorder. But behavior is only part of the story. The timing of their appearances matters just as much. Fox control season usually begins in early fall, when the leaves start to change and nighttime temperatures drop. During this period, natural food sources decline quickly, pushing foxes to expand their search range and show up more often around residential areas and small farms. By winter, their activity intensifies even further, as long, cold nights give these shadow-loving predators the perfect cover to move without being detected. During the day, there are two time windows when fox signs are especially noticeable: dawn and dusk. When the light is still dim and shadows stretch along the fences, foxes often leave their dens and begin searching for food. This is when they move low, ears sweeping constantly, gliding through tall grass to check chicken coop entrances or spots with the scent of food. At night, they remain active, but their approach is harder to observe and depends greatly on the surrounding terrain. Their choice of activity zones is never random. They always favor areas with good natural cover: meadow edges, forest margins, low banks, or thin lines of trees running along property boundaries. From these safe positions, they slip through narrow trails and gradually move toward poultry areas. On large farms, foxes often travel along tall grass corridors or sunken paths, rarely used by people, where sound is muffled and light struggles to reach. Old fences, shaded tree bases, and ground-level gaps are the features they exploit most when approaching chicken or rabbit enclosures. Some individuals even follow the strip of land bordering the yard to circle behind the farm, where fewer people pay attention and food scraps or animal scents are easier to find. For those accustomed to tracking signs, cold weather, damp soil, and early morning dew create ideal conditions for detecting fox presence. Small, light prints on soft ground, paths pressed tightly along a fence line, or grass bent in one direction, all are clear indicators that this predator moved through the area the night before. To support these careful approaches, the equipment carried must rise to the task. When beginning any invasive species control effort, choosing a firearm always goes hand in hand with precision and responsibility. The tools brought into the field must be stable, reliable, and compliant with local regulations. The Chiappa Triple Crown 20G is the standout firearm in today's group. Its three-barrel design allows for multiple consecutive shots without immediate reloading, a clear advantage when dealing with fast-moving targets. Moderate recoil and a solid, well-balanced weight help maintain a steady line of fire, especially when shifting targets in a short window of time. Alongside it is a 410 handgun, a compact, highly maneuverable option. Its low recoil and quick handling make it suitable for unexpected close-range encounters. Though not as powerful as larger calibers, its mobility provides excellent control in confined or obstructed spaces. The Beretta Silver Pigeon 20G offers the most balanced performance. Its over-under design gives it smooth mounting, low recoil, and the ability to maintain accuracy while tracking a moving target. It's a firearm we trust for its stability and the sense of firm, predictable control it provides. Regardless of which model is used, adhering to local regulations is a non-negotiable principle. Each area has its own rules regarding ammunition types, permissible seasons, and safe firing zones. Permits must be verified before any operation, and every action must be taken with full consideration for nearby residents. A suitable set of tools, operated responsibly and in full compliance with the law, That is the foundation for any control effort to be safe, effective, and accountable. It's not just the firearms. Some of the most effective support comes from tools few people expect. Trained dogs are essential in any invasive species control effort. They track scents, orient direction, and provide early warnings, helping detect a fox before it gets close. Once released, they follow the remaining scent from the previous night. A pause, a head turn, or raised ears is enough to indicate the fox's path and narrow the search area. Some dogs are even trained to bring back scented objects, helping map the animal's movement. And once the timing is clear, preparation becomes the key. The forest edge is always where any control effort begins. It's where the light of the meadow meets the darkness of the deep woods, creating shifting patches of brightness and shadow that make tracking foxes both difficult and demanding. Preparation starts while the sky is still pale. The wind map is checked again to ensure human scent won't drift into the fox's activity zone. Footwear is chosen for silence, avoiding any crackling sounds when stepping on dry leaves. Observation equipment is adjusted, making sure the scope isn't fogged over when entering areas with high humidity. From the edge of the grassland, the team begins moving slowly toward the first line of trees. Every step is deliberate, avoiding brittle branches that might snap underfoot. The pace stays steady and calm, because foxes can sense irregularities through both faint sounds and ground vibrations. The field of view is kept wide, scanning from the shaded spots under the canopy to the narrow trails running along the terrain's natural slope. A few meters deeper, the forest edge becomes the ideal place to establish a hidden position. A large tree base, a raised mound, or a patch of low brush can all serve as safe vantage points. The canopy above dims the light, helping the human silhouette blend into the natural backdrop. From there, even the soft rustle of leaves or the faint footfall of a fox becomes easier to detect. The most critical moment arrives when the first morning light filters through the branches, drawing thin lines of brightness across the ground. This is when foxes often appear to survey the area before moving toward the farm. The team stays completely silent, breathing lightly, with the scope ready to follow any movement between the slender tree trunks along the forest edge. No wind, no voices, only the natural sounds of the woods and a focused stillness to state every ambush the forest line requires. Forest.
Today we're using the NSI number 2 for 32 green blokes.
As the day fades, the monitoring area settles back into its familiar quiet. A fox can return at any time, cautious, flexible, and always shifting its approach. But with each operation, their behavior becomes clearer, and our ability to manage the situation grows more proactive. The journey is far from over, and many field stories still lie ahead. Subscribe to Famigo Farm and continue following us in the next episodes.